Awesome to be at the trade show, even more awesome to run into Fiona, because I always love to talk to the charming Miss Fiona Wylde, and it's been a while.
It has been a while.
And you got so much going on, we could do an hour podcast.
Yep.
But we're going to have to keep it in the 8 to 10 minute range, because you guys don't have the stamina to sit through a longer video, but that's a different story. Your shoulder, I think that was kind of like the last big milestone. We had an interview with you, was your shoulder thing. Mm-hmm. And then after that?
All right, so I had surgery on my shoulder in April 2022. It's now January 2024. So I spent about a year out of the water, away from competition and whatnot, just trying to get my shoulder stronger. Last year, so starting April 2023, 1 year after my surgery, I did have 2 events that I did really well in. Mm-hmm. The first, I won the sprints in Alicante, so that was a really exciting
That was a great
thing.
Comeback.
That was a
phenomenal.
pretty cool one. And then the really also exciting thing for me, because it was completely new, is that I went to my first wing foil racing World Cup.
Yeah, and you won that too.
And I won that. So that was a that was a pretty exciting entrance back into racing, and also into, you know, a new sport, wing foiling. So that was a great way to get back in. My life has certainly been different after the surgery than it was before. For the biggest thing is the number of events that I'm competing in has dropped a lot, but that's because I have a really big and passionate project that I have going on at home, which is called Wild Wind and Water. And I've been pouring a lot of my energy and focus into the organization, which is all about water sports education and water safety for students, for adults, everybody in the community. We run a lot of programs that are taught all in Spanish, so we have a lot of Hispanic folks involved in our programs. We have internship programs. Last year we had over 1,000 people go through our programs.
Wow.
For stand-up paddling, wing foiling, getting comfortable in the water, water safety, in and amongst educational elements too. So a lot of our programs are in partnership with the school district. The organization has 3 parts. We have community programs that are completely free, open to everybody. We have performance programs, which are the Wingfoil youth camps. We have 2 different types, and Wingfoil youth team, and also our infamous stand-up paddle teams, the Devo development team and the Jet team. So, and then the third part being...
You're not busy at all. No, not at all. Fiona's bored to the max.
Yeah. And the third part being our partnership programs, where we partner with the local school districts. We have a really great relationship with the Hood River County Marine Sheriff Deputy, working on the water safety element. So there's a lot going on at Wild Wind and Water. I could go on for our entire time on that.
Wow.
Check that out at
Absolutely, well worth supporting, and visiting Hood River is always amazing. Love Hood River, been there only once, but it was a great memory still. And now we just learned you took on a little bit of a corporate job at Starboard with this whole one design situation for the wings, and
it's pretty exciting. 2024 marks 9 years with Starboard, which is pretty cool to be
very cool.
26 years old and to have been with the company for almost a whole decade. So I'm really happy with that. Our working relationship and just the opportunity to continue to grow is really cool. So I'm stepping into a new role which kind of combines almost everything that I'm doing in my world right now, and I'm really excited about it because it keeps things fresh, and the whole concept is to develop a one design class where people can go sailing one set of equipment. There's youth development programs, which the youth is where I'm focusing the whole X15 class on the beginning, because I want kids to be able to learn in good environments, not have the equipment be super expensive, not have to buy, a huge range of equipment, get connected with coaches, learn how to sail, learn how to race, and have the opportunity to race at different places around the world. Maybe it's even your hometown. That's the goal. And then there will also be international races. So it's pretty cool. It's the X15 class, I think, has a lot of potential, and this is just the beginning, and I am in for a lot of learning. But most of all, I just can't wait to see young sailors out in the water racing.
Let's talk real quick a little bit about one design classes, not necessarily wing or foil or whatever it is in general. And it's an interesting concept that I only got familiar with through SUP, learning about the windsurf thing, and then it has been tried in SUP, but it did not succeed. Is it in sailing sports? It seems to be a whole lot different. Or can you elaborate on that for us a little bit, who are not all that familiar?
Yeah, absolutely. So the concept of one design is that everybody's racing on the same equipment. However, if you talk about youth classes, for example, you're going to have some kids that are 13 years old and some kids that are 19 years old. It is not fair to put the same kid on the same size equipment. So in sailing, it is very typical that most high performance classes are one design.
Okay.
And in order to...
We're talking sailboat, sorry to interrupt. We're talking like dinghy sailing.
Windsurfing,
okay.
kiteboarding as well.
Oh, okay,
so there
okay.
are already in the sailing world existing one design classes. So the idea with wing foiling is to provide it so everybody's racing on fair equipment. Now, okay, how do you make that happen when you have all these youth classes, these people different sizes,
right,
all that
very
stuff?
good point, thank you.
So, in order to minimize that, we have divided the class as a whole into different age groups. So there's an under 13, under 15, under 17, and under 19. And then you get to the senior classes. So within each age group, the wing sizes are different, and you also have the ability to remove part of the wing. The last thing I want to see are kids being super overpowered and struggling out in the water. We want to make it fun and we want to make it safe.
Okay. Cool.
So it's the same board for all those kids coming up. It comes with one foil that's at 820. That's a front wing that comes with it. However, there are two other foils that are aftermarket that are approved by the class, so you can buy a 560 and a 1200, which means that you also have the flexibility to adapt, based on the conditions. You have that flexibility. And then for the senior men, then you're going to have a 95-liter board. And the construction also changes for the seniors versus the juniors. So it's not the same equipment for you to go sailing on that it is for me to go sailing on.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And that levels the playing field.
Exactly. So that's the idea with the concept. Once again, we're at the early stages, and my job right now is to build this system out so it can be fair, it can be fun, and we can have races.
Cool. So we have this, and now the last thing that pops in my mind is the legacy. You said 9 years with Starboard. You've been to this boat show when we had a wave here, when we had paddle races. The trade show has been transforming the sport and the industry transformed into one design class, and your corporate job with that. And what is happening with SUP? Is Fiona done with, on a personal level, with paddling competitively, and is the industry starting to forget about competitive paddleboarding?
Not in the slightest.
Bad question, but
No,
I have to kind of play it this way.
It's not a bad question. It's an honest question. I would say not in the slightest. I mean, at the ICF World Championships, we had over 1,000 participants competing, and it was super competitive. A lot of new people were winning for the first time, which was really cool.
Yeah, awesome.
Having that junior class and watching the youth come up and absolutely charge it, like, it literally just, it gives me goosebumps, because there are these clubs that are happening all around the world, whether it be in Spain and France, Germany, China is a huge new emerging country as well. I went and worked with them after the World Championships and was blown away. Hood River as well, with all these kids coming up. So there are a lot of things to do these days. There are a lot of different opportunities and a lot of different sports. I think that adds to stand-up paddling, because you look at what's happening in stand-up foiling, you look at what's happening in wing foiling. Personally, my success in these new sports comes from so much time racing, and that's something that you can never undermine. And there are so many new people who are fired up to go stand-up paddle racing that, I mean, they're driving the sport forward. I'm supporting that as much as I possibly can, and can't wait to just see it all come together and happen. So I think that, yes, the sport has changed in a new direction, but that's not a bad direction at all. Like, we're in a good place.
Love it. Love every minute. Love the positivity. No lack of enthusiasm around here, regardless what it is. And absolutely love always talking to Fiona and what you have to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, guys.